Hi, now that you have created your pixel character with your generation sketch onto the grid paper, you're going to scan it and then you'll place it into Adobe Illustrator. So to begin, we will click on Create New, and we want to have probably an A4 page will be fine. We want to make sure if we click on A4, the width here will be 210 by 297. I want to have my width 297, so I can either type it in here or I can change the orientation and click this button here. So I want to make sure that it's in millimeters, and I want to have CMYK color, high resolution, and then we click on Create. Okay, so now I have my A4 page. I'm going to place the document into the background so I can trace it. So File and down to Place, and then you'll locate your image. So it's in my desktop industrial design. Okay, so I'll place this onto my page and I'll just center it here. Now, so that it doesn't move around when I'm working on top of it, I'm going to go up to Object and down to Lock and across to Selection. So I'm going to lock this selection into place, so now I can trace it and it's not going to move when I'm trying to work on top of it. When you're doing design, it's always good to zoom in to the work that you're doing so you can work a lot more accurately. But before you start anything, you should always go up to Window and down to Workspace and Essentials Classic. What that does is it opens up the palette across the top here, and it also opens up more tools on my tool palette over on the left over here. And what you'll see is where you've got little triangles down in the bottom corners, that means that there's more tools underneath. So you just click on there and it will show you more tools. In addition to that, what a lot of you may have for your setup is different measurements. So I will go down to Edit and down to Preferences and General, and then I'm going to select Units. Just make sure General is in millimeters. When we measure with a ruler, we measure it with millimeters, so it makes it easier to measure it in millimeters, not pixels or points, as some of you may have pre-selected on yours. So just make sure you've got millimeters selected. Stroke will stay in millimeters. Type is always in points, and we'll go OK. Okay, so now we're set with our page. I want you to zoom in. There's different ways you can do this. You can click on the zoom tool and you can click and drag. Now this is the character that I'm going to trace. The other way, you can do Control 0. That fits the full page into your screen. You can do Control plus, which zooms in, or Control minus, which zooms out. If you're on a Mac computer, then instead of Control, you'll press Alt for the shortcut commands, but I'm using a PC. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here. Now, the tool that you're going to use is a pen tool, and you're going to click and select that. And then what you're going to do, we want to have clean straight lines. So maybe when I start doing my lines, they might not be completely aligned with my grid underneath because I may have scanned it and it's a little bit skewy. So just make sure though that your lines are straight that you're drawing. So you're going to find a point to click. Now I can see already there's a problem here because in my tool palette, my box is filled white and the line is filled black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a different color so you can see what's happening, because chances are if it's happening for me, it will happen for you as well. So I'm going to click here to start my drawing. I'm holding down the Shift key and then I'll click on the next point, and holding down the Shift key, I'll click on the next point, and then I'll move down to here and across to here. So what you can see, what's happening now is that it's seeing that I'm drawing a shape and it wants to fill it. That makes it really hard sometimes because it starts to fill in over top of things that you're trying to trace or work that you want to see underneath. So what I'm going to do is go across here. Now in the tool palette, see this arrow here? So that means I can switch from the fill to the stroke. So this is the stroke color and this is the fill color. If I want to work on this, then I click on it to bring it forward, and I can also change the color of that if I want to, but I'll leave it for red for now because it stands out on top of the black lines. So I'm going to continue with my drawing. I'm going to make sure you hold down the shift key every time. If you don't, you won't get perfectly straight vertical or horizontal lines. So holding down the shift key, you get vertical lines, you get horizontal lines, or you get lines at a 45-degree angle. So I'm just continuing, clicking, and I'm just holding down the shift key. I'm not letting go of it. And I'm nearly done with the outline. Okay, so now I have the outline. So that's done. Now I can use the pen tool and do the squares as well. Or I could also select the rectangle tool from the tool palette, and I could just click and drag over that square as well. But seeing I'm on the pen tool, I'll just continue with that. So I'm clicking and then holding down the shift key. Okay, so now I have completed my character.